In this episode of Let's Build This Wagon, we are finally putting the fabrication behind and we are focusing on painting and all the final assembly. I have to excuse myself, but this episode is going to be a little bit all over the place. I cut a lot of footage where I thought it was a little bit boring, but I left some of the the sections maybe a little bit too long because I was mumbling around talking about various stuff, the design decisions and considerations and whatnot. And at the end of the video, there is again going to be a cut because I did not manage to finish the brakes and everything. And I ran on the open day without any brakes. And I'm going to come back to this and try to rectify. And once that is working, I'm going to cover it in a little bit more detail. But this is the very long episode 5, so enjoy. A couple of weeks has passed since the upload of the last video, and I haven't really done much, but I made a few small fabrications that I did not record because it was just one big, and there was like a lot of small things that took a really long time despite the fact that they are really small pieces. So let me show you that. And the reason I don't want to include, even if I've done a recording, because I want to move on and I think it is time to get some painting done. So hopefully this episode is more going to be about painting, not that it's going to really matter what it is. Okay, so first thing first, I wanted to have a place for these two controllers, sort of like a permanent place so they don't slide around. And I had this idea, I think I showed it in the previous video, that I have these, man, this is a little bit tough. Oh, bear with me with a moment. Let me just do this. I didn't know that it was this. Okay, so this is a bit stuck. Maybe I should bend these tabs out. So anyway, there is this place for this controller, which is all the lights and everything. And we have the other one, which is the sort of like the speed controller. And I was thinking about adding some magnets here so it sticks down, but it is so tight that it's going to stay in place. So that's how it looks like. Basically, I just have these leftover 10 by 10 box sections. So I made a very simple box and these sort of like tabs with various metal. And I found these C-clamps on, actually I bought them from Temu. This is one slightly bigger one. So these were the smaller ones and they just fit over the edge of the boxcar, not boxcar, the gondola. And that's it. It's really ugly welding, but most of it is not going to be seen if the controller is sitting here. So I thought, I can clamp this down using these bolts here on the C-clamp. But even if I don't do that, it stays in place pretty securely. So that's one thing that I did. I mean, obviously it took some time for all these small pieces to weld them together and sort of like just, trial and error. And you just push this in and there is an interference fit with these tabs. And yeah, that's it. Very simple. I'm still not sure if this cable is going to be long enough. I think it's just barely going to reach the Loco. So hopefully I don't need to resolder because there is so many different connections, especially here at the, on the plug end. I think this is a 10-pin plug and it's just like, it takes so much to do this soldering. And yeah, and that's the hand controller. And I think I would remove this much more often, especially if I'm sitting further back. But at least once like I'm on the station, I can just quickly put this back and it has a secure place. And I've also purchased another cycle computer. So I think there is going to be a space for a cycle computer just to measure speed and the distance. So that's one thing. The other thing I've done is, this is just a small bracket for the cycle computer. So that's going to sit here. That's the axle. So it has these pre-drilled holes here. So I think it's going to be like that. And that's going to hold the sensor of the cycle computer against the back of the wheel where I'm going to mount the magnet. I'm not really sure where it's going to end up, so I made this sort of like roughly to the shape, and I can drill a hole based on where it needs to be, and I can secure it here. So that's simple, but I wanted to have something sort of like fairly rigid and custom. And the other thing I've done is, I think I've shown this one. So this is that's going to be the brake handle. And I was considering making some sort of, you know, the ratcheting mechanism like in handbrakes. But I decided to do something a little bit simpler. So here onto this brake handle, there is a nut welded on. And onto that nut, I welded a blob, which I ground down to a like a pin, and I have this bolt which has an exact cutout. So the thing is, let me just put this camera down again because there's too much stuff here. Okay, so I think the idea is the way I'm going to use this. So this pin is going to be in sort of like the fully engaged position, so this slot. So I have this brake lever and I will pull back in order to engage the brake. Obviously this is going to be a spring here, so if I pull all the way down to sort of like lock it, then it's going to move it into this position. And if I want to release the brake, I have to push it sideways against the spring and then, you know, move it forward. Hopefully that's going to work. I'm not really sure. If it's not going to work, I will figure something else out. But yeah, otherwise I should have done some sort of ratcheting mechanism and like a release lever, like on a handbrake you have a push button. Sometimes like you know, the lever frames that you have a thing that you have to push and then you can move the arm. So oops. So that's going to be somewhat simpler, but hopefully that's going to be enough. And I can just add a spring here. So that's going to constantly push this handle to the left. So it will be like that and jump into place. And if I don't want to sort of fully engage the brake, I can, I guess, maybe just pull it all the way until here and then let it go. And if I wanted to lock it, I pull it a little bit more down. I'm hoping that the you know, the brake is going to have that much play in it, but I haven't tested it, unfortunately. So this we are definitely running blind on this one. So these were the things that I done recently. The wind is picking up today, so I don't think I will be able to paint anything. But I thought I should get prepared, and I'm going to degrease all these parts and maybe some of them also clean with the rug, and you know, just get them ready for paint. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. It really depends on the weather. I realize that I don't really need all of these parts to be cleaned now. I mean, I'm planning to do black first. So obviously this is all, you know, Bogie parts, this, but then the buffer beams and the others are going to be painted brown as the rest of the body. But anyway, they need to be cleaned at one point, so I might as well just do it. And I also realized that, well, I figured that sometimes the laser cutting leaves a very sharp edge, and even though this is just a very simple sanding block, it helps to just run this, I mean definitely not run it over, but just makes it much more pleasant to touch. So I was going through all these surfaces, especially because this is going to slide against the main you know, the side of the Bogie. So I figured that, you know, less sort of like burr, it's just going to make it, you know, not scratch the paint, it's going to make it slide easier. So I did this on these and did some of the other surfaces that I might actually touch, just to make sure that it's you know, it's just a nicer finish and a nicer surface to touch. So I think this should be all now, and if the weather is, you know, favorable, then maybe I should get the first coat of black on these parts. There is still some wind today, but let's hope for the best. I mean, after all, I'm painting small parts today, so maybe it's not that critical. Okay, so the first layer of black is on, and it ended up being quite windy. You can probably see on the trees and everything, but I think it's good. So that's yeah, so this is drying now, that one is drying now, and I had a lot of difficulty in the beginning to get the paint flow, and I just only realized that lost the, well, I haven't studied the first footage, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Is I'm using these, I'm creating these hooks from wires, and I hang everything up here on the that's the truss for the garage motor. So everything hangs off here. So yep, so I'm going to keep the garage door open for a couple of hours to let this air out, and then it has time to dry out here for a couple of days and I can do the second coat. And oh yeah, and you have seen me using the kids swing to make the to paint the main frames. But again, the issue here is that my air hose just reaches this, so it was a real struggle to get all the sides, you know, painted. So I was using again a piece of wire just to hook it into one of the holes and then try to spin it around so I can get easily to all sides. But I think next time I have another hose, so I'm going to use that so I can get from behind and then spray from all sides. And yeah, hopefully not many, you know, debris is going to fall on this one from the trees. There is some muck here, but you know, this goes under the car, so it's not really going to be visible, so I think it's fine. So a few days has passed already and there is still no progress on the actual frame, but I got the second coat on all the Bogie parts and I think it is time to assemble it, because then it takes up less space in the garage. And yeah, now you can see it's full summer now, so 29 degrees here in the workshop, well, in the garage, and it's the 2nd of June, so I have about 2 weeks before the open weekend, so I should better get started. So let me position you here and I should start the assembly. And I think what I'm going to do is I need to put the greasing nipples here on these bearing blocks and then probably grease them, because they come ungreased from the factory. So, oh yeah, and I also used the, you know, this is the UTC blocks, which usually have this upper part which got sawn off, and there is this channel for that, you know, V piece to ride it on. So yeah, that's how it's going to look like. And I have all the grease nipples here, which come separate, and I should assemble them. I just need a small thingy to the spanner. Let me bring you closer. Oops, shit. Shit. And I have a very basic grease gun, like a manual one, which always leaks, and it's yeah, I should probably invest a better grease gun, to be honest, because that's really annoying. Okay, one done. Next one. Okay, so this is my manual grease gun. I expect this to be fairly messy, but I thought it's going to be easier doing this way than trying to do it when it's assembled. Oh yeah, and it's so you're just spewing the grease out. This is useless. I would assume that this attachment is wrong. Maybe a wrong size or something. Oh. Oh, this one worked. So maybe the issue is with this needle here. No, that works. I don't know. Okay, so let me start the assembly, and I think at the beginning it should be very straightforward, but once we try to squeeze in the spring, that's going to be a really tricky one. So one bearing block goes in like this, and the other, and the same here, so set screws face out. And this one feels a little bit stuck. Ugh. Before I smash the whole thing into pieces, let's check, because yeah, I think this set screw was a little bit too much in. Okay, so let's try not to screw up anything in the beginning. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I don't need that. Okay. So I'm not really sure if it matters or not, but I used to put some grease into these slots here. So this is where the bearing block is going to ride up and down in these channels on the side. So at least they are not sliding on a dry surface. Okay. Okay, that's done. And now I can get these sides on, so the bearing block doesn't fall out. Okay, and I think I can bring this here at the edge of the table. And yep. So this guy needs to come out. Why is it not coming out? Okay, Oh, that's it. Okay. This goes in like that and gets secured by 4 bolts. And because I tap these holes manually, so some of these are a bit crooked. Actually, some of them are quite a bit crooked. But I think they should go in regardless. And I'm not really sure if I should use like a washer or something, but I don't think that these are going to get undone. There is some paint left in the thread, so that is locking in these bolts quite well. This one is binding a little bit. And I scratched the paint. Yeah. 4 more to go. And as you can see here, so there's the other side of the bolt, and this channel here on the bearing block is 11 mils, and this is 10 mils, so 2 5-mil plates, so there is a little bit of play here. So that should be good. Okay, let's do the other 4. I'm going to put my regularly scheduled Bogie assembly video on hold because there has been a change in the weather. It's cooler now, and I thought, well, the chassis is not here because that's outside, and I should do a first coat on the underside today. And I got the new paint, I think I mentioned already, so let's clean the part, and I should, you know, do a quick coat before my work starts in the day. I realized that I should have done this long before, but I found this very simple sanding block just helps to keep the edge really clean, as I will probably use this to lift the wagon, so it will be nicer for the for my hands to touch. Just take the edge off the burr. So let me just quickly do it and then clean up again. I'm not pretty sure how much it came through the recording, but at least I didn't get the spray on the lens here. But you can see couplers, buffers, there are some more parts of the buffers. Then this guy is soaking in the sun. I'm hoping it doesn't get burned, but I mean, I did finish painting much before the sun came, the direct sunlight came through, and it is already dry to the touch. But so this is like this reddish brown, which is typical in Hungarian railways, but I think it's also typical in Germany and many other railways here. Yeah, it already looks good. It's only the first coat, so yeah, hopefully in 2 days maybe I can do a second coat and then flip over and do the insides. So maybe 3 more coats and it's going to be ready. But yeah, at least it looks good. I'm quite happy with the results so far, and I think I've gone a little bit overboard with the first coat, which I always do, but here you can see that I try to get it all the corners, so it is a slightly thicker paint here, slightly thinner here, but with the second coat it should be, you know, nice and even. At least I managed to get the sort of the paint and the thinner right, and I didn't have that spray issue which I had with the locomotive, which I had to repaint. Maybe I could have used some filler here just to hide these imperfections, but again, the buffer is going to, sorry, the coupler is going to be here, buffer is going to be here. Maybe I will add those brake line imitations as well, so it's going to be quite busy here, so hopefully that's not going to be that noticeable. I mean, not to mention my welding jobs, but yeah, I mean, this is the to be honest, the sort of quality that I can get with this home build. But yeah, looks good. Okay, a couple of days have passed, but let's do this. And I think I want to put these guys back on. Into the new holes that I did for them. Yeah, it's a little bit tight with the paint. Okay, that's one. That's two. Okay, it doesn't have to be super tight because anyway it's only like a thread in the plastic, so I don't want to strip it. Oops. Okay. So that's done. And actually I'm thinking that this is now time to put the spring in. And I can already imagine that that's going to be an ordeal because they are quite strong. And yeah, so that's the side which doesn't have the weld, so it can slide against the side of the frame. So I'm thinking that I have to do like push this in from the side like that until it clicks and meets up with this face here. And I have no idea how difficult that is going to be. Let me move you around so you can see the struggle. I guess it's a good idea to wear gloves because I'm going to smash my hands in the process. Okay, so that side goes in, that goes like that, and that should fit over the shit. Hey, that worked. Hey, that wasn't that bad after all. There's plenty of force, which is definitely not a problem. Okay. Well, not that I scientifically measured this, but obviously the the wagon is going to be quite heavy, and I'm quite heavy. So that's that. Okay. Well, it wasn't so bad. I don't think I would be able to push a stiffer spring anyway. So that's pretty much the limit what I can do. Oh, shit, this is heavy. It feels a lot tougher. Maybe because the other side is already preloaded. Ah, shit. Well, wait. Yeah, I'm going to mess up the paint, but I was kind of expecting that to happen. Jesus, that's heavy. Ah, fuck. Oh, yeah, it's on. It's on. Well, okay. Okay. Push, snap, and it fits. And I think I have to push this one a little bit in. That's a little bit out. Okay, that's good. Okay. Oh, that feels solid. Oh, yeah. One done. Okay. That wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad after all. So I think what's left is to center the wheels. So the axles are the same length as the distance here. So I'm just roughly, sort of like eyeballing this to be in the center. And I can tighten down the set screws. And I should really make an indent in the axle, but I don't, and it's never been an issue so far. And these are not driven wheels, so I don't think there's going to be much of a force, but I could be mistaken. Okay, that's tight. That's one tight as well. What was that? Something fell to the floor. Oh yeah. Okay. I have to add the brake links, and that's it. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I have the brakes here, and I want to add them. And I mean, I already tried this before when I did the like the first assembly and everything. And I wish I had added some extra space here, like maybe even just a centimeter. Just make it a little bit wider, because I didn't leave a lot of space here, so I can get this in, just can get it in, and already, you know, it rubs against the side, and just got the paint off. So obviously this is not ideal, but this is something that did not come up in the 3D design. I haven't really anticipated how little space there is going to be. So yeah, that's that. And so I'm going to add these M6 screws here. And I'm thinking that, you know, it's M6. These shouldn't hold a lot of weight. And then there shouldn't be a lot of force applied to this pivot point. So I think it's going to be okay. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe in time they are going to bend and I have to keep replacing them. So I think that could be like an ongoing maintenance thing, but I will see how it goes. And I think I have a few nylon washers and lock nuts that I'm going to use in this setup. And also I need to figure out how I'm going to support the actual brake hanger, because I think what I should do is I should probably use lock nuts, but I don't think I have enough, so I might need to go and get a few. Okay, actually I think this is what I'm going to do. So here I have these two balls. I mean, this one is a little bit long, but we can just ignore that. And so there is a washer here, a lock washer, split washer here, and a normal nut. And this is a lock nut and a washer. And I thought I need to do the same on the other side, but I realized that I don't have to do it, because this keeps it from sliding left or right. So I can use the lock nut to basically position so it grabs on the wheel, and just keep it tight enough so it doesn't move laterally, but then it has the side-to-side motion in order to engage with the wheel. Yeah, I mean, maybe this you know, wooden shoe was a stupid idea. Not that I really had any other material to work with, but it doesn't feel like that there is an awful lot of brake force applied. Maybe it gets a little bit wrapped on and then it takes up the shape of the wheel in time. So it would align better to the wheel and then have a little bit more surface area to grab on. But, you know, that's my first try. And that's what I said, there is an awful lot of space here. So it definitely clears the wheel. So it's not going to, you know, apply the brakes, but in terms of assembly, it would be better if this surface would be a little bit more out. But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be it. So I just need to add the second part on the other side. It's going to be the same assembly, so I'll just do it off camera. At least now I have an example how I'm going to do this. So I can, you know, replicate this basically 3 more times to have both of the bogies assembled. Cool stuff. Let me try to get this on here. Yeah. If I roll this, it helps to, yeah, now it's on. Okay, so I want to mount the cycle computer, so I think I'm going to prop up this side so the wheel spins freely. Yep. I mean, the brake goes against that, but maybe I can prop it up with yep, good. Okay, let's get the mount. So this is a new mount, which is going to go like that against the wheel, like that. I'm going to bring you closer because the magnet is here. Okay, so that's one. And I have this in-bike cycle computer, which, and I also 3D printed this mount as well. Okay, so that's the cycle computer. I don't think I need the instructions anymore. Because this is the third of this cycle computer that I have. I like the fact that it has some big numbers for the speed, and it also has the time, and also the odometer and the distance and the time of the trip. Probably the only thing which I'm missing. Some of them has temperature as well, but this doesn't. Anyway, so I have one on my actual bike, one on the Loco, and then there is going to be one here as well. And the reason I choose this, I'm going to explain soon. There is another accessory for this bike computer. Yeah, basically some just zip ties and the magnet which should go onto the wheel of the bike, and some Velcro pieces and a piece of rubber which you can like bungee cord it onto the handlebar. But other than that, it's a fairly, you know, standard affair. So I need to remove this. Yep. And yeah, let me bring you closer so you can see the action. Okay, so I think you can see the magnet here. It's stuck on with 2-part epoxy. And that has worked with my engine, so I think it's going to work with this one as well. Yeah, you can see it here. Okay, so once I connect the cycle computer, I know that it's going to go through the setup process. So let me just get, I have no idea where my calipers are, but these are 150 mil wheels. So that means that if I get my calculator program running, so 150, so that's millimeters in diameter. So that's basically just times pi, 3.14, 471. So that's the circumference. And for this cycle computer, you have to specify the circumference. So, and then goes in millimeters. So let me just go to the other side. Okay, and I need to check if I have the battery in. So that's 2032. Yeah, there is a battery inside. Okay. And I think if you clip this on, or maybe you need to push a button. No. Then in that case there must be something under the battery. I don't know. Oh yeah, piece of plastic. So that goes out. Cover goes back in. Screw is shut. Sensor goes on. And I think, no. Interesting. I think it was supposed to start. Hello. 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 What's the issue here? I mean, the battery could be dead. But okay, got a new battery. So sometimes these things go flat, you know, if they are in storage for a long time. I think that could happen. I guess it's more likely than the yeah, battery was dead. Okay, so kilometers per hour and select no. Okay, so that's yeah, WS, wheel circumference. So I need to, what was the number? Pause. Okay, that was a pause here because the missus came home and we had to do dinner. So I'm trying again, and I need to. I think I managed to figure out once how to reset this, and I think I had to hold one of the buttons for. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's the. We are back in the settings to set the wheel circumference, WS. And I know that you have one button. Yeah, so you set the digits with that button, and this is in millimeters. So 471, that's what we need. So that's 174. And the good thing about this bike computer is that you can go all the way. I mean, you know, this is ridiculously small wheels, and I think on some bike computers it starts from, I don't know, maybe 1000 to 1500, so you can't go lower than that. So again, oops, shit, it timed out. Okay, so I think I need to okay, so good. Okay, so yep, so this advances the settings. So 4, and I can zero this out. Okay, so 471, I hope it's visible. Okay, 24 hours. And I believe that's the time. So at the moment is 19. 19. Ugh, shit. What's the time? 34. Quick. 34. What's this? Oh, that, yeah, you can set the odometer. Yeah, this is starting 0. Okay, that's good. That's the settings done. So I think what I need to do now is let me come to the other side. Okay, and so this goes on here, and I have to do. So that's going to be like that, and that's going to be like here. Actually, let me mark where the magnet is. Nah. So the magnet is here. Okay. And where is that accessory box? Okay, it's here. So I'm going to use 2 of these fairly small zip ties. And let me just undo this. Okay. I realized that I can get this through the holes which is in the bottom of the of the wagon, so I could get the cables in through that. But then I realized that, I mean, I want to mount this here now, and I mean, you have much better access to all of these when it is disassembled. And so, you know, once I fix everything here, then I put the body on. There is no, I mean, I can't get this through anymore. So I think I need to get the wires outside. I mean, I don't want to cut this because probably these are some really thin wires. I'm not really sure if I would be able to, you know, solder them again. But yeah, I think I'm going to route the wires outside. Oh. So that's one. And that's the second one. And again, I'm trying to line this up with this marking. Okay. Oops. Okay, I think that's it. That's good. Do I have my pliers here? Nope. Okay, Mr. Snip Snip is here. So cut it here, cut it there. Okay, that's done. And I think now the goal is, so that's that, is, oops, it is measuring already. So I need something. Okay. I mean, it must be spinning really fast. I mean, is it possible that I have it too far away? So let me move this a little bit closer. I mean, the wheel has, oh no, actually it doesn't have play, so I think that's good. Okay, 1 7 2 3 1 9. Okay, I think that's good. So I mean, definitely the distance is good now. So I can mark where I need to put the holes in the. So I need one hole here. Oops. And the other hole there. Yeah. Okay. So I need to drill out these holes and I can fix it to the side of the bogie, and that's it. Let me mark these 2 spots before I head over to the oh, and that's on the other side. Okay, so that's spot number 1. I'm going to eyeball the middle. Okay, and the same here. Okay. Actually, I don't think I would be able to put this under the on the drill. So probably it's better if I hand drill this. I mean, these 6mm holes are going to be massive for this small piece of metal, but that's it. Okay, so I'm trying not to destroy this part in the jaws. Okay. Okay, so a washer goes in here. Let me throw out this battery. Anyway. We have speed. We are doing 2.5, 2.7, 3.5 kilometers per hour. And I just realized you are not watching the action. So anyway, I'm going to cut this out, but that's so you see the mounting here. So I use some, washers and nuts and everything. And yep, it is working. I can spin this and this measures speed. And I realized that what I can do is disassemble the whole thing, and once the wagon is mounted, everything is assembled, I can feed the cable through from the top, because this guy fits, and then pull it here, mount it on, and I can do the cables and everything. Sorry, these two bolts and everything here. But I mean, it feels like being some sort of surgeon, or lady surgeon. So you have to work really tight spaces. I did the same with the Loco. Gynecologist, that's what I meant to say. So now I can't be bothered. So I think I'm just going to run the wires outside. So we'll just zip tie to some of these handrails. And I mean, yeah, the wagon is orange and this is going to be black, so it's definitely going to be visible. But actually the same thing happens on the Loco as well. Not ideal, but that's what I have to work with now. Okay, that's done. So here is the footage where I was putting the brakes together, and this is a very long sort of like video where nothing really happens, and I think I've managed to show some of the bits and pieces in previously as well. So we have these two brake hangers where the actual brake shoes are mounted to, and one of them is fastened to the cable, and the other one is to the sleeve. And I think when I did the fabrication video, I also showed you that I created this small piece of metal which basically just clamps down on the sleeve. And I think this is probably a bad idea, because you have to apply pressure in order for the sleeve not to move, but then that pressure also pushes on the cable inside, because there is only a certain amount of force that the sleeve can withstand. So probably this is one of the reasons why the brake didn't work. So that's why I didn't want to spend an awful lot of time showing you what I was doing here, which eventually did not work. So I'm going to get some new parts and probably get this, you know, special thing which usually goes onto the brake sleeve, and try to reassemble the whole thing using that, and then, you know, hopefully that's going to provide a better solution. But again, that has to go into a next video because this is just getting too long. And anyway, there is, you know, there is no solution. I haven't finished it, still haven't finished it. So yeah, needs more time to be looked at, and also, you know, try different options. I don't want to spoil her, but she's on the wheels. Yeah, that I did yesterday. But then, before I work on this one, I have the footrest here, and I bought a long piece of hardwood. So let me just quickly do the these two. Well, basically just cut this to size, and maybe just put one layer of varnish because I don't have time for two. So have this prepared for the footrest before I go and try to apply the letters to the wagon. Guess what? I forgot to press record on me painting these two boards. So yeah, it's painted. So now you can enjoy the, watching the paint dry, which is going to take some time because this is some old varnish which probably expired a couple of years ago, and it dries really, really slow. Lucky me, it's like 30 degrees now. Okay, so the wind has picked up, which is not ideal for painting, but this needs to get done, so I don't really have any other option at the moment. So this is the stencil that I 3D printed, and yep, I think it should go like that. Okay, this feels a professional masking job. Okay, so the plan is that I'm going to use this spray gun that I got on AliExpress about 6 months ago. So this is battery operated. It has a rechargeable battery inside, and that's basically just a pump and probably some air tank. And you have and this is sold by things that who they do nails, but essentially it's the same as the spray paint gun, so it should work, I guess. I never used a model spray gun before. I never used this before. Ideally, probably this is not something that you should test with, but I'm doing this anyway. Okay. Let's fill her up with paint. Man, I'm sweating like a pig. And yeah, I realized the paint is not going to happen because I don't have white paint. I have rattle can, but here I would need normal can paint because I want to put it into this paint gun just so I can just very nicely paint these letters on, because the fact that it's vertical is otherwise not ideal. If I would use a rattle can, it would just spray on so much paint that it would just start running down, and it would be just ugly. And the kids have gone out and I'm the only one at home, so I would definitely have to wait until they get home, and then I can just quickly pop to the store to get a can of white paint. But before that, or until that, we can do something. You see this small piece of track that the wagon is on? So that's very similar to that piece of track, which is my that's the track that I use to transport the stuff. Well, that's the one for the Loco, and you see this thingy here on the top, so that's how I secure. And I need to do the same here as well. So I need to get the welder out, and that basically just weld this arch and the the pin, so it secures to the buffer beam, which is not mounted yet. So let me do that, because that will probably take a half an hour. I can quickly do that until they come back, and then I can do the store run. And let me show you something else. So this is where I was painting. Oh, look at the floor. I have no idea how to clean that. Maybe I will just let the rain and weather to take care of it. I have no idea. Okay, so that's the small welding job that I need to do, and it needs to be done here. So I need to get the welder and everything up to here, because no way I'm moving this guy now. Or maybe I should roll. Maybe I can roll the whole thing off, and then I can roll it back on. Maybe I can do that, because it will be easier to weld it on all sides and also paint it black, like here. Maybe let me risk doing this. That's the brake. Oh. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And I also want to add the nut on the kingpin. Okay. Okay, that was a stupid idea. I knew why I wanted to have the wagon on, because in order to get the correct height for the buffers, well, it needs to be on. So I can, well, instead of measuring it, I can just, you know, set that connector in place, and then just weld it. So yeah, let's get the wagon back on. Which is now, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. But let's see. Shit. Of course, it's all over the place. So stupid this is. Okay. Okay, that's all. So I prepared all the parts already, so I think I'm just going to loosely fit the buffer for alignment. So probably just going to use 2 screws. One here and the other one down there. Just hold it with the M6, just finger tight. Oh, there's surprisingly little space left. And also it is way up there. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. And I think I don't need these anymore, so I cut this as well. So then again, I'm going to set this up temporarily. 1. And the other. There, and that goes on there, and interesting. I thought this is going to reach all the way up here. Seems like it's different height from the Loco. So maybe I need new parts. So this should yeah, because that should be sort of like up here, which means that I need another go away. I'm just looking at the other example there. I mean, literally I designed the Loco and the wagon to have the couplers at the same height. I mean, I have many options, so it doesn't have to be like exactly the same height, but anyway, that means that the buffers are going to be on a different height as well, which again, they are for decoration only, but you know, visually it would be nice if they would align, but it doesn't appear to be the case. Well, it's on the track, so there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's definitely weird. but I just got new parts. Okay, I got slightly longer pieces now, so let's swap them out. Okay. Okay. And I think it would be a good idea if I use a square, just to make sure. Fuck. So this is going to be my square for today. Yep, that's perpendicular. And this one as well. But I think the whole thing is not. Now it is. Okay, I think that's good. Okay. Well, that's good enough. A bit ugly here. Okay. Oh, shit. I'm sweating. Okay. I need a pin and a few spacers. So the battery in the camera is running low, so in case I don't manage to capture everything, I used one notch down, and yeah, so I prepped it up and secured it. So I'm just going to weld this on, and I'm going to weld it onto the rails, and that should be all, and we should be done. So, joyful moment. Well, basically about an hour ago, when I did the that recording, when I said I have no paint, I managed to get to the shop 10 minutes before it was closing, and I got white paint. So I have thinner, mixing cup, and the thingy. So let's see, maybe I should mix this after all it was on the shelf. I don't know where it's made. I think this is a Polish brand. Or is it possible that this is Hungarian brand? No. No, actually it looks like it's made in Hungary. And actually it's the same brand that I used for the wagon, so the red, the black on the underside, and it's also the same brand that I use for the Loco. So all the different colors were mixed from this brand. And yeah, I mean, the paint shop that I go to, they are very, you know, they have really good words about this paint. So, and I had no issues before. I mean, I had issues, you know, when painting the the blue on the Loco, but that was because I wasn't thinning it enough, and basically just the sprayer wasn't able to cope with the paint because it was too thick. So I need only a small batch, I guess. I don't know, maybe 3 spoons. And so, as I said, I've never painted before. Never spray painted with these small spray guns. I don't know how watery it needs to be, but I'm guessing this small paint gun has a very small opening, so it has to be even thinner than what I use in the main, you know, airbrush. Not paint gun, airbrush, that's what I want to say. So it would be nice if I have some experience from, you know, airbrushes, but I don't. Okay, so it almost feels like milk. Maybe a little bit more than milk. Again, one good design, one good thing about this design is because of the battery, it feels heavy. So you don't need a separate stand for the paint gun, as opposed to the, you know, the airbrush that I use for with the compressor. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe a little bit more. So this has a small cup. There is a vent hole on the top. And I'm trying to get this in without getting paint everywhere. It doesn't even fit. Okay. That works. Let me reposition you. Okay. So I turn this on with the button. Yep. Wow. Do you see that? I think that's going to work. I think I said a few times it's really hot outside, so I think the goal is just to give it a very light spray and then wait for a couple of minutes until it dries and then try again. And I have almost no space. Okay. Try to spray it on the other side so these bridges don't cast a shadow. Okay. So that should be first coat. And I see paint flying over. But hopefully it dries by the time it settles on any surface, so it's not going to stick. But that's just wishful thinking. Okay. Okay, second. To be honest, it's hard for me to tell if I got enough paint in those small areas. I mean, yeah, that's a big gap. I can see that. I also have some hairlines, like it could be from the 3D printing, but nah, I think it's good. So layer 3. Not that I can see, but I'm not really seeing any sign of running paint. I noticed this part got lifted when I was spraying, so maybe I should aim it from this direction, because here I can get the, you know, the air under it, and it is actually lifting from the surface. So maybe in the future I should have another bridge just to hold that middle part. But yeah, I do 5. Let's do 5. I think I do one more, probably from this side, and that should be it. Okay, as I said, I'm going to spray this from this side, so that's going to be the final one. I hardly used any paint. I don't know if you can see that. Actually, I'm thinking that, I mean, I still have the paint here. I wait another minute. I can take this off. What if I just quickly go onto the other side and do the other side as well? I mean, it hardly took me like 15 minutes to do all this with a 1 minute waiting in between. So maybe I should do that so I don't waste paint. But let's wait a minute and do the reveal. Okay, a couple of minutes have passed and it feels a little bit tacky to the touch. I found this, I got this jet. Is it called? I think it's called a jet. It's not as good as I expected, but it does have its merits, and you know, where it actually is useful. It's not as strong as the reviews suggest. Definitely not as strong as like a compressor, but it's a lot more mobile, so I think it's good. So I'm trying to remove all this. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. Ah, shit, no. Oh, that's interesting. This is 0.5 mil, so it is very flexible, and I thought that's a good thing, but maybe that's not such a good thing because you know, maybe the wind from the airbrush actually can lift it, so some paint can get under it. But on other places, obviously, which is closer to the tape, it's pretty good. Definitely these bridges are not visible, so at least I don't have to worry about those. So that was a good idea. And wow. I'm not totally disappointed. Maybe I just have to weather this and so make it look like, I don't know, some old or distress paint. But I think I will do the other side. I'm not going to record it, so maybe I'm just going to show you the end result. But that's not bad. Could have been better. But I probably have to use maybe, I don't know, maybe 0.8 mil instead of 0.5, and then it would have a little bit more, you know, strength to keep the shape and not to sort of like flap around in the breeze. Okay. Okay, so the other side did not turn out to be better than the first one. So you can see sort of like this hazy outline. So there's definitely not overspray, but spray that got under the stencil. And again, it's more pronounced in the middle, it's less pronounced there. And I think, well, first of all, the stencil is fairly big, and I tried my best to get it sort of like you know, flush on the surface, but I just couldn't. And I noticed that especially in the middle, it was you know, just a fraction of the surface. And of course there's no way I could hold the middle one. So I think what I'm going to do next time is maybe use I don't know, 0.8. I mean, 1 mil feels a little bit too much, but I think maybe 0.8 I can do. And I think what I can also do is design some ribs here along the letter, so basically just gives rigidity to the stencil, so it adheres much more perfectly to a straight surface. So it just doesn't rely on the tape on the side to keep it on the surface. And that sort of explains why some of the letters here on the edge at the corner is much better than some of the other stuff on the side. And again, if you look at the other side, to some extent I think this is better. Again, big surfaces here, and then, you know, small things that was supposed to cover the letters in the middle, hence, you know, there was a, you know, more flexible stencil parts, and then it managed to spray under the stencil. And yeah, especially you can see this E is pretty sharp, but then anything which is sort of like further in gets more blurry. But again, you know, if you're looking this from a, let's say, a 3-foot distance, it looks great. But I need more. I mean, this was more like a test to do, and I have a couple of other things that would go along, like, you know, some other decorations and brake lines, and, you know, the weight table and some other details should go there. But I'm glad that I didn't want to do the whole thing at one go, because now I have a little bit more experience how to do these stencils. So maybe I'm just going to do later in the summer. But yeah, I'm still glad, I'm still happy, and I know that this technique works, and I know how to improve it, and I guess I managed to learn from this mistake as well. This is the next day. I don't think I have, well, maybe I did show this seat, which I bought a long time ago. This tractor seat from Tractor Supplies. It feels really comfy, and I basically just added a big piece of wood, and I thought that I'm just going to use this threaded rod to also bolt it into the main frame. I don't think it's necessary, but that's why I did those holes, and for some of the other things, for example the brake cables, to come through. So that's that. And small development since yesterday, I got a tip that, I can use paint thinner and a Q-tip to clean up the cloud, and it worked. It's much better than what it was before. So yeah, that was a good tip. And basically what I want to do now is well, I want to finish the brakes, and well, I mean, essentially start it, because I haven't really done anything with it. I mean, and I haven't tested it. I have no idea if it works. So that's going to hold all the controllers and everything. So that's supposed to sit here. By the way, I have no idea if this controller has a fairly short cable, if that's going to reach the Loco. Never tested this. I guess I will have to find out tomorrow. So anyway, these clamp on the top, and probably ain't going to destroy the paint, but hey ho. Yep, so these are just tightened by, yep. Anyway, I will finish this, and so then this guy will be clamped somewhere here. I have no idea how much extra cable I should leave, but I'm guessing maybe here I should cut the sleeve and then clamp it down. I don't know whether I should do it on this side or that side. I don't think it really matters, but let's see. Okay, so this is at least secure. Oh, by the way, let me test this. So if I sit here, yeah, it's good. The spring can be stiffer, but also this platform, the piece of wood and the track is wobbles as well, so it's not all the suspension. Okay, definitely feels comfy. Yeah, so I should do something about this. I think first I need to just pull on the cable. And this is where I need to cut this video all of a sudden, because I can talk about this final assembly, but really nothing really happened here, nothing that actually worked. So I was trying to do some last minute changes to make these brake works, and get some friends gave me some additional parts, but actually the brakes did not work at all. So I also mentioned this previously, I'm going to put this on the back burner. I'm going to come back to it with a couple of new parts, and then hopefully I can make this work. But once that is working and there is a worthwhile, there is a solution that worth to show, of course I will come back to that, and we are going to look at it, how that works, and hopefully how it also performs. So I think that's all going to be for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next one.